Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Two Bros, One Beard. I'm John, here with my bro Mike, and we're going to do a couple of reviews here today. So starting off with the new Enslaved. So Enslaved is the Norwegian kind of experimental black metal band. This is their 16th album entitled Heimdal.
16th, jeez.
16th. Just came out the other day on March 3rd. It's a good day, what'd you say, bro?
Oh, yeah.
So this one is a concept record, actually, and I'll just read off what it says here from Apple Music. This is about Heimdal, the Norse god, who guards a bridge that leads to the heavens. And, you know, I can't really break down all the tracks and the whole story behind the whole thing, but it was actually cool for me to discover that it was, in fact, a concept record and all the songs had, you know, a thematic connection, which is really cool. But for me personally, this is like a new band for me. I've heard a lot of buzz about them over the years. I mean, a ton of buzz, and I was like, okay, already. So I'll check out this new record. And all I had heard was, yeah, I know, enough already. I mean, I had heard over and over again that, you know, they're kind of part of that second wave of black metal, along with like Immortal and I don't know, I suppose Emperor, maybe bands like that, I suppose. But hearing about how progressive their sound had evolved to, and hearing about clean singing and 70s prog influence and all this stuff, I was like, what is that about? So it was about time to finally check this out, I thought. And, you know, at a cool like 40 minutes or so, 43 minutes or however long the record is, you know, definitely a record that does not at all, in my opinion, overstay its welcome. 7 tracks. It kind of does what it needs to do, says what it has to say, and gets out of there, which is kind of cool. So, you know, I'm absolutely in love with this record. I think it's going to top my end of year list for sure.
Wow.
I definitely, you know, you can hear kind of that old school black metal influence come in, especially with the harsher vocals and stuff like that. But I was really impressed with this record. Sort of, for me, cemented all the rumors I was hearing about all these years about the just how interesting and experimental they were as a whole, and kind of just some interesting choices. So I mean, for starters, you know, I mean, there's clean singing on every track of this record, which is really neat, and they're good vocals in my opinion too.
Yeah.
You know, I love the kind of dichotomy between kind of the extreme elements, and then you'll have kind of this you know, prettier melodies coming in, and the record starts off with kind of like the sound of the ocean, and the whole record to me just feels like you're listening to it on the edge of the water in Norway. And
yeah,
you can just like it's a record that screams kind of the scenery of the whole story to me in a way.
How come the reference to water and the sea? That's what I didn't quite understand. I mean, I thought it was cool that it's about Heimdal. So,
right.
You know, just played God of War Ragnarok, and you know he's one of the main characters in there. But yeah, I didn't understand the reference.
So there's this. It seems to be about this journey, and I'm guessing that this is the journey that the characters is taking on, and there's kind of this. Yeah, there's a story that takes the listener through this journey of, I suppose, getting over the sea into this ultimate destination, whatever it is.
Okay.
I think that's what it's hinting
Sounds
at.
more like the Odyssey or something.
Yeah, I guess in a way. So a track like Kingdom, for instance, the guitarist was talking about how he mentions a human being running is a very basic and important symbol for me. It seems to, and this idea of like delivering messages over long distances, and there's kind of that thread throughout of the character kind of making his way over the eternal sea, caravans of to the outer world. So there's, to me, it's all about whatever this journey is and this character's on. I don't have the physical copy yet, and I don't know if they wrote out a story to go with it, but I think on more listens, stuff like that, some of it will become a bit more clear. But also too, I mean, there's definitely having a background in the kind of that mythology, which I do not.
Yeah.
You know, more of this might make sense, but
true.
Yeah, so I shared with you a couple songs. I know this isn't your cup of tea, but
Yep.
I shared with you Forest
Definitely
Dweller,
not.
and I shared with you The Eternal Sea, correct?
Yep.
So what were your impressions as a
Well,
not at all a fan of extreme
yeah,
metal?
not at all. So it was tough for me to get through because I just can't. It's just not my cup of tea for sure. No matter how much I give it a try, it's just the vocals are just a little too rough for me.
I did not like that at all.
But I mean, I liked Forest Dweller. It had moments where, well, I liked that there was a lot of diversity in this song. There was a lot of different sounds. Part of it reminded me of like Symphony XV. There was almost like an Egyptian melody in there.
Yeah.
I like that this song isn't just relentlessly heavy. It kind of, builds in a cool way. And I like the keyboard melody. It reminded me of like the Game of Thrones theme a little bit. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I was able to get through it, and then at least I was interested in the story, so I was trying to, pick up on the lyrics as much as I could. But yeah. And then as far as Eternal Sea, I think I like that one a little more because that had a Catatonia vibe to me, and it wasn't wasn't as heavy. And then the main riff reminded me big time of like a Tony Iommi riff, like from Heaven and Hell.
Okay,
so it was a pretty groovy riff. And then this song just made me think of like, Vikings on the sea. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting a lot of those vibes too, and I think that's why I like it so much. I mean, one of the things that I've not been a big fan of in terms of black metal, or it's definitely kept me from wanting to explore it further, is just kind of the overt satanic imagery.
Yeah.
I don't need any of that. What I find interesting about this band, from what I've been reading, is this kind of Norse theme has been throughout kind of their career, and you can just look at their song titles throughout all these albums, and it seems to be a kind of a common thread, which is kind of cool.
Which is cool. Yeah.
And I noticed too, as I was reading the kind of interview or liner notes that are on Apple Music from guitarist, what's his name here, Ivar Bjornsson, that they really try to connect it to a relatable story as well. This isn't just a history lesson. This isn't this isn't like Sabaton, but they're trying to get you into, a takeaway for the listener to be able to draw from, which I appreciate. But musically, yeah, I mean, it's heavy. I'm really digging all the keyboard parts. I mean, they really, unlike, like a Dimmu Borgir or something like that, it's not just symphonic elements on the keyboards. I mean, it's full on kind of like organ sounds and interesting, a lot of cool patches. And, I definitely hear that 70s prog influence being pulled in. That part's really cool. And then one other thing I was going to point out on the second track, I think it's pronounced Congelia.
Okay.
There's this kind of like a transitional chord progression that goes through kind of different parts of it. And there's an acoustic guitar that plays over the electrics. And I swear to you, I've never heard an acoustic guitar be so well balanced in the mix while the song is still heavy. Usually acoustics get pretty buried. It's really hard to mix an acoustic guitar with like electric orchestration and stuff. But man, it's right there. And I think they panned it just right too, because it's like right in the sweet spot. But that was amazing. But just overall, I mean, I'm super impressed with this band. It's definitely going to encourage me to maybe dive back, start with the record before this, and kind of work my way back a bit. I'm sure at a certain point I'll get to a stopping point, and when the lyrics start to get in Norwegian, I'm probably gonna, find my limit. But but for right now, man, I'm digging this, and I think, like I said, it's probably gonna top my end of year list for sure.
Awesome.
And also, we've had a weird winter here in California, so with the
Arizona
current
too.
climate, and
super cold and
super cold, not a lot of sun.
Man,
this is just like, this is perfect winter music. I love it.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of Enslaved, I mean, by all accounts, and everything I've been reading, they've done it again. And a lot of people are saying this is one of their best in a long time. So absolutely go check this out if you're a fan of that. And if you haven't checked them out, take it from me as somebody who's not a huge fan of black metal or even a lot of extreme metal, really.
Yeah.
This could be your gateway, and I think it's worth taking a chance on. So, and bro,
cool.
I'm sure you're going to go out and buy it too, right?
Oh yeah. Explore this whole catalog.
Right. But hey, I appreciate you taking some of that journey with me, bro, and checking
Yep.
out some of the songs.
That's what the channel's about. We gotta kind of
Exactly.
step out of our comfort zone, as people always say.
So 10 out of 10 for me, and a I don't think you consider it a waste of time. So
No, I'll give it a solid meh.
solid man. All right, that'll do. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us here on another episode of Two Bros, One Beard, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Take care.